The first documentary of BTS was more of a celebration. It was their attempt to take the fans with them and share with them the emotions and the feeling of their glory and all their successes. This one, though, Bring the Soul, I feel like there's a conscious effort to not really show and concentrate on that part. It wasn't about their success. It was their attempt to show the fans just how much pain it takes to be able to create what they create, just how many bruises they had to endure, just how many failures they had to experience just so they could succeed. A lot of credit has to go to the director. I'm not really sure how the movie was made or how the movie was shot. I have a gut feel that as a production company, as a management company, Big Hit just takes as much footage as they can, videos and stuff. And then when they start forming projects, that's when they decide what footages actually will represent best the message that they are trying to deliver or story that they are trying to tell. But if I am right, the director did a great job in picking up the sequences and the shots and the footages that will make it to the final cut of the film, because there was not a single shot, there wasn't a single footage in that film that was put to waste. Every moment, every second, every millisecond progresses the story that they were telling. There wasn't a lot of shots or frames or footages in the film where you can actually see the boys performing in full. Many of the shots that he chose were tight shots, so tight and so high definition that it actually makes you feel as if you're invading the personal space of the members. You will feel what they feel, you will hear what they hear, you will see what they see. And all of that helped in making you a part of this whole production, not just the concerts, but this entire BTS experience. A lot of the fans, when they watch a concert or when they listen to the songs that BTS produce or whatever artist that they are supporting, what you really see is the finished product. You see the synchronized movements, you hear the perfect pitch, you see the perfect photo, and you see the perfectly edited videos. You do not really see what it takes, the chaos, the pain, and the disappointments, and all the sleepless nights, and all the pain that they had to endure in order to produce that perfection. And that movie takes the fans and gives the fans a chance to experience and actually understand all those chaos. And it was interesting to actually hear the fans in the theater when I was watching, to hear them react to the chaos. And you would actually hear them say, "My God, this is chaotic." And it's a triumph, I would say. If I was a director and I was there, it would be a celebration for me, because that's what it is all about. They wanted the fans to understand, they wanted the fans to experience just how noisy it is at the backstage with all of these voices, people yelling, people shouting, trying to grab the next boy so that he can run to the backstage even though he's not half done dressing up. And fans don't really get to see that. A lot of the artists, especially in Korea, they have always been packaged to be this perfect person, the perfect idol. And then it doesn't end there. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. The chaos at the backstage during the concerts, that's not even half of the turmoil, the tornado of emotions and experiences and conflicts that the boys actually experience internally and externally. The bigger chaos, the bigger battles that they actually go through is emotional and mental, and it takes a toll in their bodies. More on that later. BTS talk about just how much they are committed to the group. They have been repeatedly asked whether they're interested in going solo, and they constantly say that their priority has always been the group, BTS as a group. And there's been a lot of articles and news about the policy of Big Hit for BTS to remain OT7 or the original 7 instead of individual projects. But this is actually the first time you see it in action. This is the first time you will actually see exactly what they mean when they say that their priority is BTS and not individual projects. And it is not actually about not doing individual projects, because all armies know that they do that a lot. They come out with their own singles. RM, Suga, and J-Hope, they've all done their own mixtapes. And then there's the vocal line who's starting to come on their own, and they're writing their own songs. And sometimes even the other members don't know that they are actually going to come out with their own song. And so it is not about that. I think this is a group that is just way too talented individually for them to not be given the chance to do individual projects. This movie is going to make you realize just exactly what it is that they mean when they say that their priority is a group. There was a scene in the movie where they were looking at their performance halfway through the tour, and they were reviewing their performance. And J-Hope, by the way, you're going to see exactly how much of a leader he is when it comes to performances. He was telling the other boys that he wasn't happy because he was starting to see some members falling off, like they're not perfectly synchronized as they used to be. And RM actually said that he thinks that it is happening because they're trying to conserve their energy and trying to take care of their health. And so they couldn't go all in because they feel like they're just wearing out their bodies. They were starting to get injuries, sick and stuff. It was their instinct to survive taking over. And J-Hope said that is not acceptable, because although the group has done this 10 times, 20 times over, 100 times over, these performances that they are doing, the fans that come to watch them, this is the first time that they are seeing it, and that they've spent their hard-earned cash so that they can watch it. It was Jimin who actually said that it is a given. Pain, injury, sickness, that's a given. No matter how much they try to take care of themselves, they will get sick, they will get injured, because they're humans. That's, their body is going to get worn out. If you allow that, if they allow the pain and they allow the injuries and they allow their bodies to tell them and dictate to them how they are going to perform, then they're going to perform, they are going to deliver a subpar performance. And he said, we just need to bear the pain. He said, we need to push through and bear the pain. And they were all in the same page. They said, yeah, it was great that they had that meeting because they are being constantly reminded. BTS actually said that their biggest competition is each other, because they feel that the other members are actually more talented than they are, and that they need to constantly catch up to the next member so that they could be at par, because they feel like they need to contribute as much because they are equally sharing the glory and the success. And you see that in action in those moments when Jungkook at some point couldn't perform, Jimin had an injury, V lost his voice, others got sick. They had the same response, and that is to defy doctor's orders because all of them just wanted to perform. This actually leads me to my next point. Music has always been a big part of my life, and it started off with my dad. He's a big music fan. We would sometimes discuss the music of my generation and the music of his generations. And at some point, we were discussing the Beatles and all the other groups that revolutionized music or the entertainment industry. And I told him that I don't really know if there is a formula for a supergroup, because I feel like if there is a formula, then somebody would know that already. Someone would crack it. And if someone is able to crack it, I find it very hard to believe that they wouldn't produce one supergroup after another. And he said that he doesn't think that it is a matter of knowing the formula. It is a matter of being able to execute the formula, because it seems like there is nobody that can actually execute the formula but the group members itself. If you go back and try to analyze what exactly it is that made the Beatles click, you could easily say it's their talent. But it's so hard to prove because you don't know how many other artists out there are much more talented. And there are many critics out there that have proven that the Beatles aren't much more talented than the next group. You can't even say it's hard work, that they have to be the hardest working people in the industry, because it might actually be a disrespect to other artists, because you don't know just how hard they are working. Maybe there's some luck for sure, but there are also a lot of idols out there who have been lucky. Sometimes they don't even have the talent, they just have luck. Sure, it is necessary for all of that to be present to make a group that will really become popular or successful. Not necessarily the same thing. The miracle is actually these people, these individuals deciding to come together to pursue the same dream and have the same level of commitment, the same level of determination, the same level of discipline, and the same level of heart that they put into their craft and that they put into their dreams. That's the rarest. That is what will make a group as successful as BTS or as the Beatles or other groups. All these individuals that are in the group will have to have the same level of commitment, will have to have the same size of heart. There is no amount of money, no amount of brainwashing, and no amount of training can ever put you in the same level. You have to have been born with it, and you have to live your life on a daily basis making a decision to keep that. And you will see and feel that and understand that in this film. They are so perfectly in sync. It's not just their dance steps, not just their dance moves, not just their voices, but the speed by which they go forward for their dream, that the level of commitment and the amount of love and heart that they put into whatever it is that they're doing. They are so perfectly in sync. They are so in sync that they do it even when they are not together. As individuals, these are 7 different people. They are so different from each other. The way that they react to the same situation is just they go to 7,000 different directions. And yet, even in their individual journey to ground themselves or to inspire themselves, they are still able to do it together. And they are still able to do it for each other and with each other and to each other. I think that's the actual miracle. That's the one thing that BTS has that other groups don't have. Sure, one is a more talented singer than the other. One is a better dancer than the other. One is a better rapper or producer or songwriter or lyricist, whatever it is. Sure, they don't have the same skills. But the base of all of that, the heart, commitment, dedication, determination, and discipline, it's all the same level. It's the same intensity. And it's just magic. To see those in action is just magical. There were also a lot of unguarded moments that are funny and very, very insightful, because it sort of snatches you and it puts you on higher ground. Like, it changes your horizon, it widens your horizon, and you get to see how BTS themselves react to themselves. There was this one moment when RM, they were eating, and he told the other boys, he said that, "I think we're really popular now." Because he said that he went around the day before, and people were actually playing and singing along to their songs, and their songs were being played on the radio, and people were wearing their merchandise, and he wasn't even in the venue of the concert. He was just going around. As he was telling the story, the other boys were just as easily amazed at what he was saying. They also couldn't believe what he was saying. And initially, you wouldn't really think anything about those unguarded moments, but simply funny moments, probably to fill or help the movie transition from one chapter to another. If you actually dig deeper into what they are saying and what they are showing, you will realize that a lot of the story that they are trying to tell, it's really written between the lines. And those unguarded moments will make you question whether the boys really know what it is that they are into. Do they really have a firm grasp of the life that they are living and the success that they are enjoying and whatever change it is that they are bringing? It will make you realize that even though we see this perfectly made up seven boys and these great dancers and great rappers and great singers, they still are boys. No one has even turned 30 in this group, and yet they are in this tornado of experience, and it's so easy for them to lose grasp of who they are. They did actually verbalize that. They seem to be aware that even themselves aren't really sure whether they have a complete grasp of the life that they are living today. And it was so eloquently put by the leader, RM. He said that they sometimes look at themselves and they just find themselves in awe of this experience. They are seven boys who get to do things and get to experience things that not a lot of people get to experience. But then they do have moments of silence when it's just quiet. They also get to realize that they are missing just as much because they don't get to experience a lot of the things that other boys of their age get to experience. But they are very much in acceptance of the fact that they cannot have both. They can't have the best of both worlds. And Namjoon said one of the most insightful things I've ever heard from an idol. And that is that the fact is that there really is hardly anything you can control but yourself. You can't control how other people are going to react. You can't control the media. You can't control the world. You can only control yourself. And you just need to accept that. So you just gotta do what is best for you now. The fact is that most of our grief, everyone's grief, is actually a result of loss, whether it's a dream, a profession, possession, people, family members, relationships. Our grief is mostly because of loss. That grief becomes greater when we are unable to let go and we are unable to just live the now. If we can just understand and actually live the fact that aside from ourselves, there is nothing that we can control. So you just gotta do what you need to do for yourself, the best that you can do for yourself now. There's a lot of good points about the movie. The technical side of it, it's just perfect. The sound, the music used, even the balance between the background noise and the voices of everyone that are talking. It's just well made. It's just a well made documentary. But I think the real reason that they were able to create something as good as this one is the content itself, and that's BTS, the seven boys. So watch it.